Now here on, we just need the score of Alice, so the height is just of one row. Now let me tell you, the height and width cannot be 0. The minimum should be 1. Because when you specify 0, that means 0 rows. And there is no way that you would not select any row while using the offset function. So minimum should be 1. That's the height. Now what if I would have selected 3 as the height? It would have selected 89 and 2 rows below. So it's a 3, height of 3. That's including the current cell where it is halting and 2 more cells down. That's the height of 3. Now in case if I do not want to select the bottom 2 cells but the upper 2, then I need to specify the height in negative. That's -3. So while we have mapped the offset function to come here at this position, that is 4 rows down and 1 column to the right. Since we selected the height as -3, it is 1, 2, 3. These 3 cells will be selected and that's the height. So when you say height or width, it includes the existing cell. As of now, we just need 1. So whether you put -1 or +1, it does not matter because it just means the same row itself. Now width, here we are covering 3 subjects at a shot. So 1, 2, 3. The width should be 3, which includes the subject or the cell where we already are. Close the bracket and notice something different here. You see, this is a form of spill error. We had 3 cells covered and Excel has identified all 3 cells over here. For those using older versions of Excel, you might get the hash value error here. Now, since Office 2019 onwards, it is no longer giving you a hash value error, but rather it treats it like an array, and hence it's a spill error It's a spill error here. This one function is not able to accommodate all the 3 cells in one cell. Excel cannot do that. So what is the purpose of this offset function? So whenever you have the height and width specified, or rather I would say whenever you have the height and width greater than 1, either of them or both, then you need to encapsulate them within some aggregate function. Now these aggregate functions should be something like the sum, or you can also use the average, min, max, and so on. As of now, we need the total score, so we'll use the sum function and close the bracket. Here we have the sum function. Now I can understand you would say that this would have been really easy. I would have just used the sum function and that's it, all here. That's absolutely fine. There is nothing wrong in this. But first I'm trying to explain you how this offset function works. Understand the nature of how this works and we can use it for real robust dynamic calculations. So here we have the total function. So here we have the sum function, and under that we have the offset function. So technically, if you realize what exactly is happening is, offset function does nothing but the selection. So far, earlier over here, we were just selecting one cell, so it returned the value of that one cell. But here we are selecting an entire range. So this is as good as, let's say I wanted to take a sum of these 3 cells, and if I do not give the sum, average, or any function, just highlight them, select them as it is, and hit enter, it spills up over here. And this is exactly what the offset function is doing there. For those using older versions of Excel, you will see a hash value error. But what exactly did we do here? We just selected the range. That's it. Offset function also does the same. It just selects the range. What should you do with the range? Now that is up to us. We encapsulated the selection within the sum function. So this is as good as sum and selecting the range. So the offset function is actually giving you this as a result, which is not visible to us, but this is exactly what's happening there. Now here we have manually selected this, but offset function gives an edge over here. It can help you dynamically select as you proceed further with complex structures of your model in Excel. Meanwhile, let us fill these so that you get a good grip on how to work with this offset function And then I'll take you to some more complex structure, and you would be able to appreciate or visualize this the actual benefit of this offset function. For now, let us try one more. We need total score of Maya. So I need a sum function, and under that I put offset. Now we can give a different reference point here. So for example, let's say I will use this as a reference point, or here. That's okay. This is just for practice purpose. And I want the total score of Maya. Okay. Now Maya is 2 rows above, so -2. Now how many columns should I jump from? There are 2 ways I can do. Either I can bring the cursor over here. I ask offset function to stay over here or stay here. So right now it's 2 rows above, but Maya is 3 rows above. So my bad, it's 3 rows above, -3. So we have 1, 2, 3. This is where the cursor should be for offset. Now, do we want the selection to start from economics? If yes, then I would say move columns to the left by 3. So that's -3. Now, height will be 1 because we are only concerned about the scores of Maya. And width will be 3. Right? So what exactly is happening here? Move up by 3 rows, move left by 3 columns, and select 3. With a height of 1, select width as 3. So the selection is happening this way. Hit enter. Well, I did not close the bracket for some function, so Excel is giving me this error. Let's do it. Here we have this. Let's take a total of Maya's scores. So yes, it's 141. This is perfect. Let me also do it the other way around. Here we use the sum function and say offset. Keeping the same reference point, I say move up by 3 rows. And this time, instead of starting from economics, I would have the selection from accounts. So I say move left by 1 column. So accounting is where 3 rows up and 1 column to the left. Accounting is the cell which has been selected. That's cursor on 37, or the offset function is sitting here. Now from this, height is 1 and width. This time, we need to select all the 3 subjects and the rest of 2 subjects are towards the left. So we will specify the width in negative. That's -3. When you say -3, it's current cell and the last 2 cells on the left. And that's it. Let's close the sum function and hit enter. It does the same job. Earlier we specified the width to be 3 because we got the offset function sitting here and then select this. Now the other approach was let the offset function sit here and select backwards. Either ways, it does the job. Now try the other 3. Over here, you need to use the average function here, the highest score and lowest score. Now this is something we had worked on. Now it makes use of those functions which we had discussed in basic Excel. Try it by yourself, take a pause, try it by yourself and come back to this video. Alright, so let's start with the average function. I want to take an average score in economics. Now this is subject-wise scores, right? So we say average and offset. Now this time I can give a reference point over here. Jump down by how many rows? It's just 1 because scores start from 1 row below. And jump or move right by how many columns? Just 1 because we are focusing on economics. Now this time what would be the height? The height would be 4. That we have 1 row down and 1 column to the right. This is where the offset function is sitting and we want all these 4 cells to be selected. So 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 4 including the cell where it is. Height of 4, width of 1 because it's 1 column that we are working on, right? It cannot be 0. Here we have the average of 72. Well, in case if you want, you can select this and take a look at the bottom part of the window. You can see the average.